Hey guys, it's Shara from Woodshop Diaries, and have you ever bought one of these picture frame sets and thought these could be better? I mean, I guess 20 bucks for a set of 5. I really shouldn't have had high expectations, but the stuff inside is actually pretty great. Like the backing and the plexiglass and the mat, it's just this plastic frame that's a little eh. So in this video, I'm sharing how to build an easy and inexpensive wooden frame to upgrade these cheap plastic ones. And it only requires like one power tool. So if you guys are ready to get building, let's go. This video was sponsored by Fanttik. So I bought this frame and it came in a set of 5 for like 20 bucks. You can find cheap, basic frames in many standard sizes, but in this case, I'm using 11 by 14. So the frame is actually 11 by 14, but it's matted for an 8 by 10 photo. So in a previous video, a few years back, I shared how I built some really huge custom picture frames. And in that video, I cut my own plexiglass and I cut my own picture mat. And in that case, because it was huge and custom, it was a lot cheaper to cut those myself versus buying them. But for smaller, like standard size stuff, nothing custom, a lot of times it's cheaper just to buy a cheap picture frame and take this out. It's just cheaper than buying it individually. So for this project, I'm going to extract the guts. I don't know why I made that sound gross. From my picture frame, and we'll just toss this and reuse this in my new ones. Okay, so I've got a 1x3. I've got some almost like mini chair rail molding. It's just some like thin trim. And then I've got a piece of 1/4 inch thick by 3/4 inch wide lattice trim. So what I'm gonna do is glue this up first before I cut down the pieces to make my frame. I could have cut all of these pieces separately, but I thought it would be easier to glue them up in one long strip, then cut them down for my frame pieces all at once. So first, I glued the trim piece onto the 1x3, and by the way, for an 11 inch by 14 inch frame, I needed to glue up a board about 72 inches long to cut all of my pieces from. Then the lattice trim needs to be inset from the back edge of the board, the thickness of the picture frame parts. I found a scrap strip about the same thickness to help me get it in position while I glued it on. This will make more sense when the pieces get trimmed down, but for now there should be a lip on the bottom edge here. I glued up 3 of these because I was making 3 separate picture frames. While the glue dries, let's think ahead about how I'm going to hang these 3 frames with the help of the Fanttik D2 Crossline laser level. In the unlocked mode, this laser is self-leveling if it's within 4 degrees, and it projects a bright green beam horizontally and vertically to help with things like hanging photos, installing wall trim, shelves, cabinets, and more. But if you needed it held at a specific angle, you can switch it to lock mode and tilt it as desired. It mounts on the top of a basic tripod, but it also comes with a 360-degree magnetic bracket that allows you to hang it on the wall. The laser has a working range of up to 100 feet, and the rechargeable battery provides up to 10 hours of continuous use. I'm using the D2 Crossline laser level here to help me position my photo frames so that they'll be evenly spaced and level. I'm going to tack my center nail right in the crosshairs. Then I can measure out from there and tack my other 2 nails on each side right on the level line. Now, when I'm ready to hang my new frames, not these are just for demonstration, I know that they'll be aligned. If your shop or your home could use some leveling up, pun intended, get 43% off the Fanttik D2 laser level at the link in the description below with code SHARAD2L. So now the glue has dried on my boards, and before cutting them, I decided to go ahead and stain them. I wanted 3 frames to be stained 3 different colors, so I stained one board a lighter color called Autumn Wheat. I stained another a darker brown called Pecan, and I stained my third one black. I use water-based stain, which dries really quick, so I could move right along to trimming them down. I adjusted my miter saw's miter angle to 45 degrees and then trimmed one end of my board so that the side with the lattice trim was the shorter side. Then I measured and marked my board, adjusted my miter 45 degrees to the other side, and cut. It's important that the miters on each end are 45 degrees, not parallel to each other, and that the short side of the 1x3 is 11 inches long, or whatever size frame that you're making. I cut 2 pieces with the short sides 11 inches long, and then 2 pieces with the short sides 14 inches long. Then I test fit them together. The center picture parts should fit snug into the back of the frame, and the lattice trim should keep it in place.
Perfect.
Once I made sure that everything fit well, I glued the corners and carefully clamped the frame together, making sure to keep the corners nice and flush. I let the glue dry, then I came back with a little stain on my finger to touch up the corners. My miter saw blade is overdue for replacing, so I did have some tear out on some of my pieces, so I was careful to touch these spots up with stain so that it would blend in. Then I applied a clear coat poly to each frame to seal it. At that point, these frames are finished except for one critical detail. I installed these picture frame tabs on the back side of each frame to hold the picture and the backing in place. The existing tabs on the backing worked for the cheap plastic frames, but they don't really apply in this case, so I just removed them. After installing some new prints in each of my frames, these were ready to hang on the wall on the nails that I had placed earlier. These tri-colored frames are a huge improvement over those cheap plastic ones. It'll be a lot of fun to swap out prints for each season or to use for pet photos because that's basically the only photos that I have. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a quick and inexpensive way to upgrade some basic photo frames. And if you're anxious for more project videos, stay tuned because as always, I've got plenty more to share soon. Thanks so much for watching, friends, and until next time, happy building.